I'm joined in the studio now with the fantastic Arj Thiruchelvam, head coach at Performance Physique. We're going to talk London Marathon, but you've got to weigh in on this conversation. Surely, Arj. I mean, I'm feeling the blood is boiling for some Beatles fans. I'm not saying me personally.
I can imagine, yeah.
But what's your thoughts on this?
I do understand the desire to have someone from the local town, the hometown of the Beatles, to actually feature in this film.
The Beatles put Liverpool on the global map. I mean, I'm just going to repeat that. The Beatles put Liverpool on the global map, right? When they came out, everybody knew about London. Everyone knows London, and we love London. But in the UK, aside from London, the other L was Liverpool. And that was because of the Beatles.
Totally.
And then to be talking about, I'm just waving at a huge star that's here at the studio, but I'm not allowed to say who it is. But then to be talking about making a film on one of the greatest, pop groups this country has ever produced, right, from Liverpool, and then not one actor is from there. What's your take? I'm not trying to give my perspective at all. I'm simply asking you the question.
I understand, but sometimes I always think there's maybe a better actor to play the role.
Okay.
I am always one of those individuals who I just wanted to go to the best actor. Those guys are obviously massive at the moment.
Okay.
So you mentioned Stephen Graham.
Oh, well, I was saying off air, Stephen Graham. I mean, I cannot wait until I meet Stephen Graham. It's going to happen. I'm manifesting it. And I'm going to fall to his feet because I absolutely love this actor.
Yes.
Not just because of Adolescence, but in general, he is a working class hero.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of my working class roots. He flies that flag and I absolutely adore him as an actor. And he's from Liverpool.
I think he's fantastic.
He's a Scouser.
Who does he play?
Who would he play? I mean, he could play the older version, maybe. It would either be George or Ringo Starr, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think Ringo.
Yeah, all right, okay. I see it. George Harrison. Yeah, maybe.
Put me in touch with his agent.
Okay. So look, before we delve and talk into London Marathon, are you a huge fan of the Beatles? And if so, is there a song that resonates with you or not?
I say as a family growing up, we had quite a few LPs of theirs.
Yeah.
And, I inherited quite a few of those myself. I've got Sgt. Pepper, etc., etc.
Right.
For me, it wasn't massive, but I did like Come Together. I thought the opening... Come Together. But it's those bars right at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I just thought really chilling. I like that a lot.
Here's the thing. Okay, and then I will move on because I could probably sit here on Radio London and for the next 3.5 hours just talk about the Beatles. I'll tell you why I love the Beatles so much. Because as a 9-year-old, I loved Yellow Submarine. And then as a 19-year-old, I loved Hey Jude. And then as a 39-year-old woman, I absolutely love Help. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every stage of my life, which I'm not 39 now, but what I'm saying is every stage of my life, the Beatles have always been there. And I always loved and admired the fact that as a group, their music could resonate with every generation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because I think it's quite catchy. Every single song's catchy. I sing Yellow Submarine.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
To me, I can't think of any other British group, right, that has been able to achieve that.
No.
I genuinely can't. And I am, an Oasis fan. I am a Coldplay fan.
It's not the same level, though, is it?
There you go. Did you see your eyes just squint there? It's not the same. You can't, when you put the Beatles, to me, the greatest band ever.
Yeah, worldwide, I think they are. They must have sold the most records.
Oh, no, let's do a little bit of research on that. They probably have.
Streams not included.
Yeah, streams. Well done. I was just going to say streams not included. If you take that out of the picture, you're absolutely right. Okay, let's play this in homage for the fact that you're going to be on the school run very soon. And if you're in the car, if you haven't had a chance to enjoy the sunshine, if it's just been a long day, then sing along to 2 minutes and 36 seconds of sheer bliss. On the basis of that, though, there is a reason that I've got the fantastic Arj Thiruchelvam here in the studio. He's going to be joining me every single week because I am not the health and fitness person that he is, and you may well have heard of it. London Marathon 2025. Well, it's the 45th edition of the 26-mile race taking place on the 27th of April. The entire city is going to be gearing up for this. And if you're listening, if you're a racer, I felt like you may well be appreciative of more professional advice than myself. Hence, we've got Arj Thiruchelvam, the head coach at Performance Physique, in the studio. Arj, It's peak time right now, isn't it?
It is indeed, Shay.
London Marathon countdown has begun.
Yeah, it's getting really exciting. We're 4 weeks away now from the world's best marathon. You know, there's nothing quite like London, and there's nothing quite like the London Marathon. The people come onto the streets. The racers that we attract from the elites are incredible. And then obviously we've got 55,000 entrants. It's the most entrants the London Marathon has ever seen, who are going to head down onto the tarmac and try and get a personal best.
That is staggering. I just need to say that number again. 55,000.
Yeah. It's
entrants.
More than so many stadiums in the UK.
It's huge. And it's happening on the streets of London.
Exactly.
The London Marathon has grown and grown.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you are right. It is the greatest marathon in the world. But there's a lot of training that's involved. Yeah. After 3:30, we're going to delve into some of that physical side. But I also think we never discuss the mental agility that's required for taking on the London Marathon, Arj.
Definitely. I mean, if you think about, you try to go to the gym and you want to do 20 minutes on the treadmill or really push yourself on this one leg press or whatever it is, that's quite demanding.
Right.
Now we're talking about convincing yourself to do something for 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours. That's a whole nother level. And you're not just having to do it on the day, you're having to build up to this moment. So you've got to do the training for it.
Yes. It's... that's the thing, is finding the motivation, I guess, is my question, you know. For anyone who's tuned into Radio London who is neck deep in training right now for London Marathon, I suspect there's going to be a little bit of nerves kicking in now as well, Arj.
I really hope so. I would really,
Why do you hope so? I thought you would have been calming it down.
No, we want nerves. Nerves is a good thing.
Okay.
That means it means something to you.
Sure, that's true.
And you can actually use that nervous energy for the first 10, 15 minutes. So it's free energy. Take advantage of that.
Nice.
The only thing that you need to always keep in the back of your mind is that this doesn't have to be your only ever chance. Therefore, don't let the nerves, the anxiety overcome you. There'll be other opportunities to run marathons and different events. But when you step onto that start line, there's nothing quite like that London Marathon. It's
a hard one, this, but in some ways, what's coming across from what you've just said, Arj, is you've got to try and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of my runners at the moment have talked about, they're not running London necessarily for a personal best.
Okay.
They're running it to have a great time.
Yeah, because should we go through, I'm saying we as if I'm running it, but you know, when you're taking part in the London Marathon, you go through past some amazing buildings, historical landmarks.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the London Marathon,
totally.
I think.
And it's also the street atmosphere, you know. You're coming past things like Cutty Sark, which is like one of my favourite things to run past or go past. And then you're hitting like the street carnivals, and it's amazing to see. There's a real true day where the community comes together and celebrates those people who are perhaps in a better position to run than you are. You know, I don't want to run it. It sounds like a horrible thing to do, guys.
Okay, I'm glad you said that's how I feel.
But supporting them,
totally.
I'm all for it.
I've always loved being a spectator. Over the years, it's just the atmosphere. It's infectious. You just want to support people on. My number one favourite thing to do now with my husband Sonny and my daughter Tyra is to be there and point out, look at the people that are dressed up and running, and you know, because people have fun with it, don't they? They really dress up and they have their costumes. And yes, you've got those people that are looking at their personal best, and total respect to them, but it's also really nice to see those people that are running for a personal cause, a particular charity that's close to their heart, that they want to, you know, raise funds for. That all of that comes across.
It really does. And you know, we see these individuals, maybe the firefighters who have tanks on their back, or the gent who last year ran with a fridge on his back. And you know, these are challenges on their own, let alone having to do it across a marathon. And you're just really inspired by those individuals. And the number of people on the Monday after the marathon who stick on their pair of trainers and just think, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go for a walk.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. It's great. That's what we want.
It's amazing. Exactly. Stay with me, Arj. I'm going to continue having a chat with Arj Thiruchelvam. We've got some top tips from him, head coach at Performance Physique. If you've got any questions, email them in. Shay Kaur-Grewal here with you until 6 p.m. The countdown has begun. Today is the 1st of April. And can't quite believe this, but in 27 days. There's going to be a lot of running taking place here in London. And that, of course, is because the London Marathon 2025 is back. And something I'm going to do in the coming weeks is speak to friend of the show, Arj Thiruchelvam, head coach at Performance Physique, to get top tips for you. Now, the London Marathon is the 45th edition of the 26-mile race, taking place on the 27th of April. And I think it's fair to say the whole entire city is gearing up, getting ready for this. If you'd like more details, you can go to performancephysique.co.uk. Arj, thanks so much for staying.
It's my pleasure.
And so let's kind of count down, shall we? Because every week you and I are going to be having a chat.
Yeah.
You're here really to talk about mindset, training goals, what you should or should not be doing. So now that the countdown has begun, this is the month. What should runners be thinking about? What advice have you got?
Yeah, so I figured for this week we should really look at the key things that are going to be bothering our runners, which are going to be on their mind. And I even got a text actually on the train here into the studio today from someone who's running the London Marathon for us, and he's like, actually, how far do I need to be running? I trust your process entirely. I'm just a little bit nervous. And that is going to be going through so many people's heads right now.
Yes.
So realistically, you never ever need to or should even run the full distance in training. It's just a big no-no.
So never do like the full 26 miles?
No.
See, some people wouldn't even know that.
Definitely. There will be tons of people who right now will be considering doing that this weekend because it's a month ago, I can still do it. You don't need to.
Why not?
So the requirement for us to get to 42 isn't all about physicalness. It isn't about anything more than just the nutrition that we can apply and our mindset. You touched on it. So you can get through that final 10K without doubt just on race day. So
really?
you can cut right back down to 32 kilometers.
Okay.
As long as your training has been really effective, just based on the mileage that you've covered so far. And then from 32 to 42 kilometers, the final 6 miles, that is all about, at that point, making sure you're fueling correctly with your gels and making sure that you understand and appreciate that the final kind of 5K are going to be horrendous. No matter how fit you are.
So glad you said that. See, like in my head, I just think all runners just think, wow, let's go. But it is not easy.
There is a reason why less than 1% of the world's population has done something this distance.
Okay. I mean, that's huge in and of itself.
Exactly,
to be taking part then.
Exactly. And the final 5 kilometres, no matter what level you are always going to be really hard.
Even the top athletes, even the ones who are going for the personal best, 100%. The ones that are really racing this.
100%. Okay. So look at Sifan Hassan last year when she comes through the line and she did some wild things on the course. Yeah. She is a character. And she said, I was asking myself, why am I doing this?
Really?
She's on camera at the end saying, why am I doing this? She goes, I must be crazy. My body hates me. And it is because it is the absolute ultimate limit of the human body.
Okay.
So you don't need to run that far. Go to about 30. 30 kilometres is a nice point of, I've got confidence. I know I can go for quite a long time now. This is maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours, whatever, of just continuous running.
Okay.
And I know deep down inside that all my training, I can do a 12K. And I know it sounds daunting to say, you've done 30K, do another 12. Yeah. But you can have adrenaline, you can have your nutrition, and you're going to have that fantastic crowd. You know what it's like on the sides of the streets when you're heading towards the finish line.
Yeah.
So that's really going to pull you through. At this point, you should be hitting your maximum long distance run this weekend, no later than next weekend.
Here's a question I got for you. What about sleep? How important is your sleep at this point? Because I know, Arj, and you and I were talking last year, in that last week before London Marathon, you were talking a lot about getting the sleep right. Yeah. But actually, is that something you should be gearing up to even from now? Yeah,
so it's one of the few things we accumulate and we can bank is sleep.
Okay.
So if you're a shift worker or you have young children, I'm really sorry. It is very, very difficult.
It's hard, yeah.
Sleep is the number one performance enhancing thing that we can do. So if you can start getting a good sleep pattern in right now, you will be in a better position.
Count it. Well, you just said sleep is the number one enhancing thing you can do, performance enhancing thing you can do. Yeah. 7 to 8 hours every night.
Yeah, it does vary actually, depending on the individual. So we always say 8 hours, don't we? Because that's what we've all heard. It's the same kind of thing as 10,000 steps per day. It doesn't necessarily. There are people who require slightly less and there are people who certainly require slightly more.
Sure.
But if you average 7 to 8 hours a day, you're going to be in a good position. And like I said, if you have one bad day and you nap the next day and make up for it, that's cool. You can do that.
And how prepared should you be at this point? You know, the 1st of April, 27th of April, it's going to be around the corner, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is,
for the London Marathon. How prepared do you need to be at this point? Whether that is looking at shoes, looking at your clothes that you're going to be wearing on the day, nutrition. Yeah, there's so many things that you need to tick off the list, Arj.
Yeah, there really are. So shoes, you should definitely really be getting to the position where you're pretty much certain which pair you're going to wear. If you've bought yourself a lovely pair of racing trainers for the week or the weekend of the race, you need to stick them on and do a run in them now.
Okay.
Make sure you feel comfortable in those shoes.
You need to bed in, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even the super shoes from loads of the different brands say, "Oh, wear only on race day," because they're really, really limited to how many miles you can run in them.
Okay.
You need to make sure you feel comfortable and confident in them. You don't want to just run in them on the day and think, "Oh, these feel horrible. Or these feel really strange." So you need to do that now. Race kit, make sure you know what vest you're wearing. If you're going to wear one for charity, make sure that you've actually tried it on, make sure it's a good enough quality and don't need an undershirt or anything for it. And make sure as well that you're prepared for the inevitable, that you forget something on the day. You forget an item, you forget safety pins or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that nothing's a shock and it's, okay, cool, I haven't got my lucky hat, I haven't got my my arm sleeve, whatever it is, that's okay. That's not going to affect your performance. You just need to be able to come towards this sense that I am good in myself of what I've done in the lead up to this. I've worked really hard. That's all that matters. If I forget my cap, it's not the end of the day.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Because it can be that one thing that you forget that throws you off. And just finally, let's focus on the nutritional side and what you need to be doing in this week. Because I know we're going to be having these conversations in the coming weeks. But as you gear up towards the London Marathon, there are going to be key changes. What should you be focused at this point?
Right now is understanding what you run best off.
Okay.
So you've got a long run this weekend. Everyone's going to be doing it on Saturday or Sunday. I promise you, Shay, they need to be making sure that breakfast that they have before their long run is going to be the same breakfast as they're planning on having on race day.
Why?
Because you need the familiarity. You need to understand what you consume now and how it affects your body on a long run. Therefore, do it now. You've got then 3 weeks to make amends, if it doesn't work quite well for you.
Okay, so if you're not stocked up, like what's a good hearty breakfast? Could you have a full English, would you say?
Please don't.
What are we talking about here? Lots of eggs, oats? What are we going for?
You want really simple carbohydrates. So some white toast with some jam, a glass of orange juice and a little bit of a banana. Good to go. Happy days.
I mean, I'd probably go with peanut butter on toast. I don't know if that's just good. No. Oh, God. So this is why I'm not running a marathon.
I love peanut butter.
Yeah.
My son constantly shouts for peanut butter, but realistically, there's too much fats in it. So that will upset your stomach. You want something really simple carbohydrate.
Just before I let you go, for anyone who hasn't necessarily thought that and they've just kind of said, well, look, I'm quite happy with my porridge or my oatmeals. What do you mean by just having that simple, toast with jam or a banana and an orange juice? What are we talking about in terms of digestive system here? Because that is vitally important when you're running.
This is all about having really simple sugars. So it's almost like looking at the most processed thing possible that your body has to do the least with it. And that is jams, that is sugars, that is sweets, that is isotonic drinks that you can get along the course even. And then you want to make sure that you've got nothing in there with a high fat or high fiber content. The things that we possibly say are healthy for us. Yeah. When it comes to a marathon, you want to think like a child.
I love that. I mean, you just can eat as much jam on toast as you want. Well, not too much in reason. But just the fact that you can have that for breakfast, and then be on your way, having done your stretch, having, got the right shoes on.
It's not going to upset your stomach. That's what you want.
Exactly. That's the key fundamental I'm taking away. Arj, it's always a pleasure having you here on Radio London. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nuggets of knowledge and wisdom. I just know it's going to help a lot of our listeners who are gearing up for London Marathon. You're going to be there on the day, aren't you?
Yes, I will.
Cannot wait. And then I will see you this time next week.
Perfect.
As every single week we're going to be rolling down London Marathon with Arj Thiruchelvam, head coach at Performance Physique. Thanks again, Arj. If you'd like more details for the work that he does, by the way, head to the website. It's performancephysique.co.uk.